You know, there's only a few guarantees in life: death, taxes, and the Giants having one of the most disgusting pass rushes in the entire NFL.
Here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. My name is Deception. I talk about the New York Giants so that you don't have to. And as a Giants fan, as a lifelong Giants fan, I've been struggling to find any form of excitement or hype going into future seasons, just because every time I feel like we're finally making steps in the right direction, we take 5 or 10 steps in the wrong direction. So I've had a lot of trepidation getting excited going into next year, even though I've liked the moves that Brian Daboll and Joe Schoen have made in this offseason. I feel like they've made sense, and I feel like the moves that were there to be made were made. And if they weren't, they just weren't there to be made. I mean, i.e. the fucking Matthew Stafford trade. Like, it seemed like it was a foregone conclusion that the Giants were looking at trading for Matthew Stafford. That didn't happen. So they pivoted. Seems like there's been a lot of pivoting going on with this organization for as long as they've been around. And really, I don't even know if that's just a current regime thing, or if that's been a Giants as a whole issue. But I digress. So we're about a week out from training camp, and like I said, it's been hard and difficult for me to become excited going into next year. I mean, I've tried to, you watch highlights of these new players that we get. You have the dark cloud of Daniel Jones no longer hanging over this team, and you feel like that, this is a put up or shut up year for the current regime. So if it's going to happen, it's got to happen now. It can't be next year. It can't be 2 years from now. You guys are going into year 4, and we've got to improve. We can't be having 2-14 seasons when you have the talent that we have on this roster. And I know quarterback's a big part of that, and I know Daniel Jones wasn't the best quarterback in the world. I understand that. Russell Wilson, I mean, is he much better? Is he a much better quarterback at his age, kind of knowing that he's a few years probably past being over the hill? Is he going to be a much improved quarterback for us than Daniel Jones? Yeah. That's the sad thing. You're getting somebody who has already been through 2 teams in the last few years, 3 teams in the last few years. And it doesn't seem like fan bases are necessarily fucking, throwing a fit that he's walking out the door. So we have Russell Wilson as a starter, and then you also have Jackson Dart, drafting him in the first round. A lot of people didn't have him going that high. He was seen to be more of a maybe mid day 2 kind of pick. Maybe we could have taken him with that, 43rd pick or whatever it was that we had in the second round, or 32nd pick in the second round. But really, it's not about what I think. It's about what the Giants think, and it's about what Joe Schoen thinks. It's about what Brian Daboll thinks. And look, you can look at these players, especially someone like Jackson Dart, and say, is that the guy you wanted, or were you just investing in an insurance plan? Because are you just investing into this kid as a way of saying, hey, like, I haven't had a chance to work with him yet. I never got to get my guy. And we rode Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston all year. And now, even though we're, 4-12 or whatever we are at that point in the season, I have to get another year to be able to see what I have in this guy. And unfortunately, that's also the case. Like, it's just like, I keep going over and over, round and round in my head about how I really feel about this team. And I'm just not sure. Like, I want to be excited. Like, I'm not looking at this team on paper. Again, fucking paper tiger argument. Are we just paper tigers? When you look at this team on paper, when you see that we have not just a 1, a 2, a 3, but a 4-headed monster on that defensive line. And then you add guys, Darius Alexander, Paulson Adebo, also in the secondary, huge addition. Even though he's not my kind of corner, where like he's kind of like a Wink Martindale of fucking corners, right? Because you're either going to live by the rush or you're going to die by the rush. Same thing with Paulson Adebo. He's either going to win by getting picks, getting interceptions, live on that, or he's also going to give up big plays. So you kind of have to live with the results of that. And if that's what the Giants feel like is best for this defensive scheme, then so be it. Like, he's the best corner available in free agency. He is coming off of an injury, but I do think that this defense for the New York Football Giants is going to give our offense enough opportunities with the talent that we have on this offense. And let me tell you, man, with the talent that we have on this offense, and with the defense being able to at least give our offense opportunities and not have our offense constantly feel like they're playing from behind, like this team has potential to be special. It does. And that's how I want to feel. But again, I feel like I've been fucking through too many jaded relationships, and now I'm scared I'm going to get my heart broken again. But the pieces are here. I've said my piece about these certain players that we brought in, Jackson Dart, who we drafted. Actually, watching him after we drafted him, obviously, like I'm going to be more invested in him. I'm going to like him more just because he's a New York Giant. You have young talent at key positions. You have that monster defensive line. As long as our offensive line can stay healthy, like these wide receivers that we have, having even somebody like Russell Wilson, who, yes, is past his prime, is a huge upgrade from what we had last year. No excuses for this regime this year. No excuses. Because I think every Giants fan is pretty optimistic about going into next year, despite the schedule that we have. Because for whatever strength that team might have, you can just point towards a strength that the Giants have. I feel like our defense, like no matter what offense we're going up against this year, I feel like our defense is able to take care of it, or at least limited enough to give our offense a chance. Same thing with our offense. If there's a defense that we're going up against next year, I'm not too worried about it because I know what the pieces that we have. I know we have a Malik Neighbors. I know we have a Tyrone Tracy Jr. I know we have a Russell Wilson who's going to be able to keep you in games. I know that we have a young rookie quarterback waiting in the wings. Like, there's a lot of reasons for optimism going into this season, and I'm like I said, a little. There's a lot of trepidation in saying that, and I'm kind of worried that the Giants are just gonna fucking burn me again. But at the end of the day, this is just a sport that we have to have fun with, and I'm a Giants fan at the end of the day, and I can't help myself but be fucking ecstatic going into this season. And hopefully the fan base feels the same way. Not to say that we're not going to acknowledge the warts that this team has, and we're not going to hold the people in positions of power responsible or hold them accountable for things that go wrong. If things go wrong, let's say, because I'll be here for that. I'll be sure to call out any moves that may happen before here in training camp between Joe Schoen and Brian Daboll. And if I feel like there's coaching decisions that don't make sense in the actual season, I'll be sure to hold Brian Daboll accountable for that. Now, look, guys, as much as we're excited to go into next year, the first thing that we have to take care of is we have to stay healthy going into training camp. It's about a week away. None of this matters if Jackson Dart gets injured in training camp. None of this matters if Andrew Thomas gets injured in training camp. None of this matters if that fucking toe injury that's been freaking lingering with Malik Neighbors since he was a freaking toddler, apparently, because he had it last year when we drafted him, played just fine. And I understand they're probably just trying to be cautious with him. I get it. But we have to make sure that he gets out of training camp healthy. Andrew Thomas, like I said, Dexter Lawrence, Abdul Carter, watching his off the field stuff, not saying it's like a problem or anything, but it seems like he's taking this very, very seriously and having quotes that say something to the effect of, "I ain't no fucking rookie." I love to hear it, but I'm also worried that he's going to try to push himself too hard. And we already know that he already had the shoulder issue and the issue with his foot as well things that we have to monitor, things that we have to take care of. Because first, before we go up against the Commanders in September, we have to make sure that our best players are going to be playing in September. And so that's what we have to do. That's what we have to take care of. We have to take care of ourselves. I remember many years where we're excited for certain players, like Xavier McKinney's rookie year, where he had that freak foot injury as well. And then another thing with McKinney where he went, did the whole 4-wheel thing, which isn't, I don't know, it's not really a big deal in my opinion, but just shit happens is my point. Just shit happens. Players it doesn't even have to be football related. It's just shit could just happen. So, let's start this year positive. Let's recognize the warts that this team has, but acknowledge that we also have the talent to not be limited by anything this year. So let's take care of ourselves. Go Big Blue. I'll be making a lot more content based around training camp when we actually get pads on these guys, seeing them in real game action, and especially leading into the preseason. So I appreciate you guys checking out the channel and stopping in and taking a look at this video. And if you'd like to, feel free to, leave me a comment. What are you guys optimistic or pessimistic about going into this year? Or if there's anything specific you want to see going into training camp, or things that you want to be, or things that you want to listen to about training camp, if there's anything in particular. So again, appreciate you guys stopping in on this video. And until next time, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.